More and more, the heroes of the book grew in popularity, and I likened them to be the next generation of Marvel's heroes, much like in the current book, Young Avengers. May 18th, 2013. It's been about a month since I decided to do a retrospective on the New Warriors, a comic I grew up reading and liked for its down-to-earth characters and amazing storylines. The question I often asked myself during this time was, how was I going to cover this? There have been 4 volumes of the book spanning a little over 20 years, and then it hit me. I'm going to cover the volume that meant the most to me, the original series. It was the first, and in my opinion, the best. The others may be touched on, but for now, I want to cover the series that sparked my imagination as a kid. I wonder if it's weird to have an inner monologue. I might need to have that looked at. Definitely. Okay, just making sure. The summer of 1991. This was the year I started reading comics on a regular basis, and I was on the verge of entering those awkward teenage years. My family and I were preparing for a boat trip like we did every summer when my brother and I were growing up, and I really needed something to do in case my Game Gear died on me out at sea. I asked my mom to take me to a comic shop to get some reading material. I picked up the odd X-Men and Spider-Man books, and then something else caught my eye. It was this comic, New Warriors 11. I didn't know if it was the cover or what, but I flipped through it, and I knew I needed to have it. And hey, look at the price. You can't get a deal like that for a comic nowadays. As time went by, I collected more of the comic, added it to my monthly picks, and just became engrossed by it because, like me, the heroes were teenagers who, despite having fantastic powers and odd adventures, went through real-life situations that served to balance the everyday with the extraordinary. That's what I remember the most about this book, and that's what I've decided to talk about today. Now it's time to take on some New Warriors facts and figures. Why? Because I don't have a continuity alarm. Don't worry, this is gonna be fun. Who created the New Warriors? I suppose this first question is to be expected. Okay, let's begin. The New Warriors were created by comic legend Tom DeFalco in the pages of Thor number 411. He wanted to create a team of teenage heroes who were either once featured in a solo series or were supporting cast members of other books. The main selling point was that this group were not sidekicks of other heroes since, DC cornered that market. All the characters that were introduced in the issue, except for one character, had been introduced beforehand, as Marvel tried to build them as the Young Avengers before there was a Young Avengers team. The first volume was written by Fabian Nicieza for a good portion of its 1990 to 1996 run, and was drawn by Spider-Man artist Mark Bagley. After it ended, the team had a brief revival in 1999, 2005, and 2007 with a 4th version of the team. Despite those volumes, it was the first run that people connected with the most, because despite the superheroics going on, there were still teen issues they faced, such as how to deal with relationships, parents divorcing, abuse, and more. That wasn't all for the Warriors. DeFalco has said that while the other heroes in the Avengers, Fantastic Four, and X-Men were around, they needed help. Meanwhile, Nicieza went on to say that the book was about the determined underdog, who, despite being young, cocky, and insecure, would rise up to be heroes in their own right, and that is what made the book so special. The New Warriors' role in the Marvel Universe was simple. Until their debut, Marvel's teenage heroes were often affiliated with a core team, like in the case of the Fantastic Four or X-Men, or a solo hero like Spider-Man. And at the other end of the age spectrum, we had Power Pack, a team of kid heroes. Something needed to fill the void, and this team did that job magnificently. Who are the members of the team? Volume 1 had an interesting cast of characters from all corners of the Marvel Universe. They were Namorita Prentiss, aka Namorita. Nita was the cousin of one of the first of Marvel's heroes. I don't think it takes a rocket scientist to figure out whom. She's the cousin of Prince Namor of Atlantis, and has all of his abilities. And, unlike her cousin, she has an affinity for the surface world, and will protect it at all costs. Vance Astrovic, aka Marvel Boy, and later, Justice. Vance was just a teenager when he encountered Vance Astro, a future version of himself who led the Guardians of the Galaxy. He warned his younger self to not join NASA in a bid to spare the youth from being trapped in a suit for all eternity. Instead of destroying all time and space, the incident awakened his mutant telekinetic powers. Astrovic's father didn't take kindly to his son exhibiting mutant powers, and thus began to beat him. How he dealt with the abuse set the stage for future issues. Richard Rider, aka Nova. I've already covered Nova in depth in another video. He's the guy who was inducted into Marvel's version of the Green Lantern Corps, known as the Nova Corps. In Volume 1, he isn't nearly as powerful as he became in recent years. He seems to be a veteran compared to the others, and while that may be true, he never acted like he was above everyone. Now it's time for everyone's favorite ginger. Nope. Wrong team, but you are close with the mutant thing. Reverse the words in her name, genius. There you go. Angelica Jones, aka Firestar. Firestar got her start on Spider-Man and his amazing friends as a mutant who had the ability to control microwave energy. When she showed up in the comics, she was under the tutelage of Emma Frost, White Queen of the Hellfire Club, and head mistress of the Massachusetts Academy. There, she trained Angelica to be an assassin and member of a team called the Hellions, a counterpoint of Xavier's New Mutants. Once she had a falling out with Emma in a conflict with the X-Men, she returned to a quiet life with her father until she was invited to join the New Warriors. Robert Baldwin, aka Speedball. I suppose it's fate that Speedball first appeared in a Spider-Man annual. The way he got his powers mirrors how Peter Parker got his powers. While in high school, Robbie worked at Hammond Labs, reference to the original Human Torch, maybe? There was an accident as scientists tried to tap into a mysterious energy source from another dimension. Something goes wrong and the kid gets bombarded by the energy from that dimension. Robbie now has a kinetic force field that allows him to bounce and use his kinetic energy in a variety of ways. Later, Dumbo. Like, September later. Dwayne Taylor, aka Night Thrasher. If you look up angry black man on TV tropes, you'll find a picture of this guy. Night Thrasher, the man with the mildly pornographic code name. He's the man who brought the team together to fight the foes the Avengers, Fantastic Four, and others never touched. The reason why he does this is because he wants to avenge the death of his parents, a la Batman. Since Marvel already has a Batman, a schizophrenic Batman with multiple personalities, Night Thrasher toned down his gimmick little by little, while dangerously teetering on the edge of the extreme 90s stereotype. These six were the original members of the team. Other teen heroes joined in Volume 1. These included Silhouette, a disabled lady who can meld into shadows and drop punks down like a boss. Darkhawk, the kid who found the amulet and became an armored hero. Rage, a 13-year-old who, through an accident via toxic waste, became a muscle-bound Goliath. Hindsight, who was Robbie's friend and a total New Warriors fanboy. Night Thrasher's half-brother Bandit. Turbo, who in reality were two teenagers who shared a suit that had ties with the classic Marvel hero called Torpedo. Even older heroes joined the team, like Dagger and Alex Power from Power Pack. By the end of the original run, the time-traveling Time Slip joined the group, as well as Helix, a youth who could recode his DNA and react to any outside threat. Quite a roster, huh? Yep, no surprises here, just an average... Hey, fine, I'll talk about him. Jeez. The team also had Scarlet Spider on the team, who, as many people know, is the clone of Spider-Man. Since I'm covering Volume 1, I'll discuss him later. Next question, please. Heroes are only as good as their villains. Who did they fight? Oh, so you want me to bring on the bad guys, huh? I'm game. Meet Air Force. Thugs powered by suits that allowed them to fly. Martial artists, Bengal. The Folding Circle, a group that has ties with Night Thrasher. Force of Nature, a group of former B-grade villains repackaged that leave disaster wherever they go. Gideon, a mutant with the ability to mimic other powers, who was also a ruthless businessman. Harness, a villainess with a suit of armor and an axe to grind. Sphinx and Lady Sphinx, former Nova villains who consistently caused trouble for the Warriors by rewriting history and used the power of the mystical Cardstones to do it. Scion X, a group created by Gene Tech Labs to create superhumans of their own. Yeah, those plans never work. Sea Urchin, an illegal salvage expert trading in Atlantean artifacts. Tyke, the woman who raised Night Thrasher and was secretly a sorceress. Dire Wraiths, parasitic aliens that threatened mankind in the past and returned to cause trouble. Supernova, a renegade Nova Centurion. And finally, the first baddie the group fought as a team, the former herald of Galactus himself, Terrax. These characters seem like B-listers. What's so great about them? Hey, there's no need to toss out insults, pal. Oh, right. I actually wrote that into the script. Moving on? It's true, these characters do seem like B-list superheroes from Marvel's past. I think that's what made them so endearing to anyone who has ever read the first volume. The Avengers, X-Men, and everyone else had their own sphere of influence, and had been in the spotlight for years. With the New Warriors, we got a glimpse of what life was like for a group of heroes who could conceivably be Avengers in the future. We saw young heroes strive to become heroes much like how the Human Torch, Spider-Man, and the original X-Men started. Only this time, heroes are taken from different backgrounds to create a family, and as a sort of answer to DC's Teen Titans. I saw Firestar a few times in the comics you've shown earlier. Wasn't she in Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends? I thought she was a cartoon character. DC's Harley Quinn didn't write the book on cartoon characters transferring to comics, my friends. Firestar, like Harley Quinn, did start out life as a cartoon character. She was featured in Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, like I said earlier, and fought crime alongside Iceman and of course Spidey. Angelica was created for the series after the rights they used to Human Torch were tied up. It's just as well because fans became enamored with the spunky ginger from Long Island who bore a striking resemblance to Mary Jane Watson in her civilian look. Did Marvel just combine two redheads for that show? Isn't this book a little like the Teen Titans? Oh boy, here we go. The New Warriors and DC's Teen Titans do have similarities. Both are teenage teams who could one day have members in their respective worlds' Avengers and Justice League teams. However, the main difference is that the Teen Titans were never billed as a street team. They were sidekicks that unified under one banner. The New Warriors began as a street-level team, and gradually, the threats became more elaborate, and as time went on, they grew. The team evolved from humble beginnings to saving the world when all seemed lost. Where are they now? I'll be sure to cover that in a later video. Weren't the New Warriors responsible for that whole Marvel Civil War? We're not talking about that. Yet. I said not yet. New Warriors? Wasn't that the movie that started the whole come out and play a meme? No, that was The Warriors. Also, what show do you think you are watching? What's the answer to life, the universe, and everything? 42. What does that have to do with the New Warriors? Who shot JR? I've never watched Dallas. How many roads must a man walk down before you can call him a man? Okay, these questions are starting to go way off topic. I better start wrapping up before I say something I might regret. Doctor Who. Wrapping up now. Like them or not, call them underdogs if you wish. The New Warriors was a book I loved growing up. The characters were larger than life and displayed a youthful attitude I admired. They fought for what they believed in and forged friendship that lasted to this very day. The team evolved into more than just a street team and enjoyed success as fans read the adventures and, like me, became enthralled by the laughter, the tears, and the daring do. Some paired off into deep relationships, some overcame serious personal obstacles, and in the end proved to be something really special, as we'll see. Other Marvel books at the time were great, but it's the New Warriors that defined comics for me. It's the New Warriors that grew up with me as I grew up. It's time to see just what this team is made of as I look into New Warriors #1 next time. For now, I'm Steve Farah, thanks for watching Comic Showcase, and I'll see you in the funny papers. Why didn't you use I Am the Warrior as the theme song for this retrospective? Get